Good morning everyone and welcome to Byrness in Northumberland, north of England. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and I've got up quite early because today is potentially the final day of the Pennine Way, and if I'm capable of walking the 25 or so miles I will be able to make it all the way over the border hills into Scotland and to Kirk Yetholm, which is the final stop on the Pennine Way. Last night I stayed in the Forest View Inn. Because I got up so early I missed the free breakfast. So what they've done is made me some sandwiches. They left me a bowl of cereal on the table to eat in the morning and made some sandwiches to last me during the day. And they didn't charge me any extra for that. That was really good of them. Another thing they also do is they provide a service where if you don't feel like you can do the 25 miles in one day, you can get to a certain point on the Pennine Way and you can walk a couple of miles off it, down off the hills, and they will come and get you in that shuttle. But I'm not going to use that service, I'm going to try and do it all in one day. One other thing is that I've left a bag with the Forest View Inn, and it's got things like my toiletries, because I don't really need to carry my toothbrush and toothpaste 25 miles a day when I'm concentrating on just getting there. So I've also got some of my spare clothes I'm not going to be using, and then on the way home I'm going to stop off here and collect them. So that's really helpful for them to do that for me. Really nice people. Right, I've just crossed the A68 trunk road and starting to head up. Got a fairly decent climb from now on until I get up to the border ridge. Oh, my hands are cold. So hopefully it's going to warm up a lot when the sun is properly out. Well, right away I've started the big climb through this forest. I'm going to stick by some trees for quite a while until I get to the top. Well, it's definitely as steep as I remember. It's quite a tough little first climb for 6 in the morning. It's quite uncommon to get these kind of views in England, with the forest stretching away. I now remember it was going to be a tough climb this morning, but I didn't think it was almost going near vertical. Having to use my hands to get this bit. Not being touched by sunlight yet. I'm still in the shade, hoping that when I get on top of this bit of hill I'll feel some sunshine on me. Might make me feel warmer. There's a thing. There's the warning sign for the military firing range. Tell me not to pick up anything, such as bombs when they're made. There's a bit of marshy ground here. I'll piece my way around it without getting my feet too wet. Sure. Let's get across this. I do have spare socks with me today because I don't want to have wet feet on such a long day. Jump this. I might just have to get my feet wet and go for it once I can get across here, which will be quite a leap. Oh, made it. Oh god, I made it. Thought I was in there. You know, when I landed, one of my feet got stuck in the mud and I thought I was going to tip backwards into the bog. Bog of eternal stench. Try walking all these tufts. I think I can get onto this bit. Yeah, I'm definitely on a little island. Soft it is just there. Well, my leap across here was a close thing. You can just see I barely made it. It's kind of a remote place. Still, it's better than walking in the fog. I'm sat on a wet stile, so I'm not going to stay here long. Just going to have a drink, maybe some of my snacks, but it's actually turning out to be quite a nice day. I've been gone nearly 2 hours before I got to the border. It's not too bad. I was quite slow going up that first Byrness hill, but now I'm on top. The only thing slowing me down is the damp ground. Miniature defence rangers. This path to Reedsdale is open at all times, but keep to this side of the warning notices. And this here is the border between England and Scotland. This path. It's not quite the border because the farmers who built these fences most likely weren't professional surveyors, but for our purposes the fence is the border. It might be off by a few feet or it might cut corners, but now we are in Scotland. I thought they were shouting at me because the gate was open, but the gate was open when I got there, and I tend to leave gates how I find them, but they're actually shouting at the sheepdogs. They're rounding sheep up. For anyone not familiar with the UK, you might be wondering, hey, didn't you just pass from England to Scotland and you didn't go through a border control point or something like that? Well, it's because the United Kingdom is a nation made up of 4 countries, to simplify things. Think of it as 4 different states, though we are not a federal country at all. So even though I've left one country, I'm still in the same nation, United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It wasn't always like that. At one point, that would have been going into a different country. And who knows, one day it might again be a different country too, because there is a vote coming up on Scottish independence, whether they want to sever ties with the United Kingdom and become an independent country. I've been trying to count in my head, and I think this could be the 9th time I've visited Scotland, which means I've visited Scotland about half as many times as I visited California. The very first time I went to Scotland was when I was 16, and to welcome us to Scotland we got attacked by a guy with a golf club. One of the people I was with got hit with a club, but I just got a kick up the arse, so I got off quite lightly. So hopefully no guys with golf clubs are going to attack me and kick me up the arse today. But you never know, it could be one of those days. Okay, so I've done the 4 miles from Byrness in 2 hours, and just less than 2 hours, including that big climb. So that's quite good. Now I'm actually on the border ridge itself, which is not too bad. Pennine Way to Windmill, 8.5 miles. So even if I go at the 2 mile an hour pace, that'll be just 4 hours. If I do 2 miles an hour all day, it'll make this around a 12-hour day, and I'll get in for 6 PM. I really do need to be there for 8:30 at the latest, because it'll be going dark, and 9 o'clock it will be dark, but I should still be able to piece my way along. Okay, and heading back into England now. Just over this stile. And do that a few more times today. Cross over and back. This morning up on these hills I've been passing Roman forts and signal stations, so I've not been able to quite see them, even though the Pennine Way ran straight next to them. Even past a medieval village on the English side. No, just the remains of one, because I guess the Scots must have burnt it out, or maybe the Scots settled there and the English burnt them out. But here, Deer Street, this here is all that remains of a Roman road that ran to Edinburgh. Now, the Romans didn't completely settle in Scotland, though Agricola did lead a campaign into Caledonia in, I think it was the 70s and 80s AD, and he defeated the tribes living there, and they began to build a wall across the Firth of Forth to the Firth of Clyde. But the rest of Britain was hard enough to rule by itself, so they moved back down to Hadrian's Wall, which had been abandoned for a while, and they continued to build Hadrian's Wall because that managed to protect lots of lead mines and silver mines and all the valuable things that the Romans actually needed. They didn't need hills like this, which are hard to garrison and easy for rebellions to take place in. Okay, archaeological area. I understand the no digging and no cars, but what on earth is that below? Someone with a flamethrower? I don't know what that is. That could be anything, but it's allowed, whatever that is. You can do it. We circle back green. There's an alternative route for the Pennine Way, and restricted by to Chew Green, half a mile. And I'm fairly sure I saw a sign like 10-15 minutes ago that said it was half a mile to Chew Green, so I'm not exactly sure I trust these distances on the signs. Looking over there, you can see into Scotland from this border ridge. The actual border between England and Scotland is one of the oldest borders in Europe in a way. It was in 1247 that Henry III and Alexander II signed a treaty which started establishing the border between England and Scotland. So how did Scotland and England end up forming the United Kingdom? You'd probably think it was something to do with the English somehow conquering the Scots, because that's usually how it's portrayed. But they tried that and they didn't succeed. What ended up really happening was the Scots, or the Scottish throne, inherited the English throne. So England ended up going to Scotland and not the other way around. And it gets quite complicated exactly why that happened, but we'll try and go into it when I find somewhere to sit down. Right, I'm going to leave Deer Street here, the Deer Street Roman Road. The section of Deer Street from Towford to the border is a scheduled ancient monument, and as such it is protected under the Ancient Monument Archaeological Areas Act of 1979. It is a bridleway, it serves the Countryside of Scotland Act of 1967 only, and there is no access to motorised vehicles. So, there Deer Street heads on to Scotland, but I think I'm still on the English side. It finally happened. I almost lost a boot in there. Well, I've made it to one of the mountain refuge huts. Look inside. Ooh. Not too bad a place to sit down for a while. Okay, so we can talk a bit more about how England and Scotland became one kingdom. So Richard III, who was exhumed last year, was killed in battle fighting Henry Tudor, who became Henry VII, and he had a daughter, Margaret Tudor, whom she married King James IV of Scotland, possibly to keep the Scots at bay while the crown of England changed dynasties. Now, when King Henry VIII attacked France during the early 1500s, James IV of Scotland, who would be his brother-in-law, came down to invade England, and he died in the Battle of Flodden, which is quite near here. You can almost see the battlefield from the Pennine Way. So James IV died, and his son James V took over. Now, I think he died quite young, and he only had one child, Mary, who went on to become Mary Queen of Scots. Now, Mary's husband in Scotland was murdered, probably by Mary's lover, so she had to flee Scotland, but left behind her son James, who went on to become king. Now Mary sought refuge in England, where her cousin Queen Elizabeth was ruling, and she was the daughter of Henry VIII, and Mary had previously claimed the throne of England would be hers. So as you can imagine, Elizabeth wasn't too happy to see her here in the north of England. So Mary was imprisoned by Elizabeth in several different castles in the north of England, and finally she was executed. Now, one thing that did happen was that Elizabeth agreed that when she died without children, Mary's son James VI of Scotland, would become King of England, James I. So James I was the great-grandson of Henry VII. Now, he wanted the English and Scottish thrones to be unified, and he's pretty much told everyone, even though there's two separate parliaments, treat it as one country, for I'm going to rule them both. But England didn't want to unify with Scotland at the time, probably because England had quite a lot of liberties when it came to the monarchy. We had the Magna Carta, which limited the power of the king. So from 1603, when James got the throne of England, it wasn't until 1707 that the Acts of Union were passed and England and Scotland merged their parliaments together into Westminster. Between 1603 and 1707, absolutely nothing happened in England at all. Oh yeah, apart from we had the Civil War and the Glorious Revolution. But that, roughly, is how England and Scotland got into the situation they're in now, by Scotland inheriting England. Okay, so it's 11:15 and I'm going to leave the Lamb Hill mountain rescue hut and continue up Lamb Hill, and then it's Beef something hill, I think it's called. I was looking at the Ordnance Survey map, and I'm surprised how many earthworks and ancient settlements there are around here. It's just, it feels so remote, but you can see there's been so many fortifications here during all the border skirmishes and the Roman invasion and things like that. It's quite interesting to think that this area of land was pretty much devastated, and people just didn't live here because it'd seen so much warfare and everything being burnt down. But now it's time to continue on up Lamb Hill, which I can kind of see that's not too bad a hill. A lot more slabs while I climb up Beef Stand Hill. They're quite welcome because I can see some of the boggy, marshy areas, which I would otherwise have had to leave. Almost at Windy Gyle now, 1.5 miles. I think this is the place where you can hike either direction and get back to civilization if you don't feel like you're going to be able to make it over the top in time, and your body's saying, hey, you've been going, it's coming up to 6 hours you've been walking, you know, when we're going to stop? Like, actually we're about halfway there. So yeah, let's keep on going. Well, here here's another one of the cut-offs, Cockclawfoot, 2.5 miles that way into Scotland. It used to be a place people used to stop to split up the day, but I think it's closed down there now. So, continue on. Kirk Yetholm. Oh, the shill's 6 miles. I'm getting there slowly. Got the flagstones and it's really steep and muddy. Oh well, I'm going to have to do my best to get up it. I've been climbing for a while now. It's way down over there. Whew. It's going to feel good to get on top of this thing. I don't even know what it's called. I've not looked at the map. I've not prepared, I just want to get up over it. So let's keep going. Now these look very new slabs. Must have been airlifted out here this summer. Okay, here's where I can make a decision. I can keep going down this hill, which is the path, or I can go to the Cheviot summit, 1.25. Which is uphill, could be half an hour for me at this pace. I don't want to do it because I'm tired. I'm really tired and I've still got a few hours to go, but I'd like to make this video as complete as possible, so I think I am gonna just try. I'm not gonna be able to see much from the top. It's not a great hill, but yeah, let's just do it. I'm going for it. Almost made it the first bit. Just got a little ways to go to get to the top of the Cheviot. Wind's still pretty bad. At least it's paved. My only regret is that when I wet my socks, I swapped them for my spare pair, which aren't quite as thick, so they're not really absorbing me stamping all over this rock. Well, this is the top of the Cheviot. As you can see, it's not a great view. Very windy and all the way across the flagstones will really hurt my feet. Would I recommend doing it? No, it's not really worth it. If I was doing the half day today and getting off at one of the places where you can get picked up, then yeah, why not add an extra 2.5 miles on, but if you're doing the big day like me, it's not really worth it. So I'm going to head back down and keep on going to the Shill, and then on my way to the end of the Pennine Way. 2 hours away now. So windy! Really windy! Anyone wanting to know exactly where this is, this is coming down from the junction of the Cheviot, and that is Henhall. It's a really rocky, steep little mini valley. This side we're looking at is England. Over there, that's Scotland. And see the mountain rescue hut on there, and I'm going to walk along up to the Shill, which is the final big climb of the Pennine Way. That's a bad look at the Henhall, and there's the steep hill I climbed down. It doesn't look that steep, but it really was. Hoping the Shill's not so bad. Well, this is the top of the Shill. That was the final big climb. I don't think I've got another one in me. Not do that again. I hoped I was closer than 4.5 miles, but I'm not. And this wall marks the England-Scotland border. the last time, because from now on the Pennine Way heads down into Scotland for 4.5 miles. So let's leap this fence and just head on down. I've only got 15 minutes left on the camera, so times are wasting. One thing that sign means though, with 4.5 miles left, it means I've done over 20 miles so far today already. So yeah, a lot of that was climbing. I had the big climb right at the start in the morning, and then it's been up and down all day along these hills. It'd be good to do some downhill into Kirk Yetholm. So here's where the Pennine Way splits again. Low level alternative route to Kirk Yetholm, or the high level main route. I am so exhausted. I don't want to do the high one. I just want to get there, but like, this is the last bit of punishment I have to do. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do the high route. I did the Cheviot, so I'll do the high route. 4.5. Hopefully there's not many climbs worse than this. Scotland is looking so inviting right now. Down there, nice and flat looking. Well, flat compared to all the hills in the north of England I've just crossed. Well, I was scared I was going to have to climb that, but I don't. It's the Pennine Way hedge over there. So now I'm scared I've got to climb up that. Well, physically and mentally I feel done. I feel like I should be in Kirk Yetholm already. That's just where I want to go. Actually, I don't think I will be climbing that, because that is in England. I'm not going back into England on the Pennine Way. So, it means at some point I've got to turn, head over there. It must be somewhere down in that little valley where Kirk Yetholm is. Kirk Yetholm, 2 miles. Another thing is that it's about 10 past 6 in the afternoon, so I've been walking around 12 hours now. Exhausted completely. I'm struggling to keep both my mind and my body happy. I'm telling myself I'm almost there. You know, keep your spirits up. At the same time, I'm telling my body I'm not there yet. Keep going. Through the trees is Kirk Yetholm. Made it. Oh, a minute or two away. I've made it. Oh, they'd be lucky to see me going at 30. There's no way I can get up to that speed. So here it is, the Border Hotel, end of the Pennine Way. Made it. Right, so that is the end of this day on the Pennine Way, the longest day. Not only that, it's the end of the Pennine Way itself. Today was a truly challenging day for me. I found it so tiring towards the end. My feet were in a lot of pain, but it was so worth it just to get up and do such a long day and actually physically and mentally do it. And I did. So, because this is the end of the Pennine Way, this is the last video in my series. So thank you for watching this video. If you've watched any more, thank you for watching those as well. It really has been an absolute pleasure to make them. I've really enjoyed it. But for now, goodbye.